Again, thank you so much for being here.
It's my absolute pleasure, and thank you to Vidyanti and Esha and all the other students for organizing this.
Well, let's just get started. So what inspired you to pursue business?
I think when I was entering high school, I didn't necessarily know I wanted to do business specifically. As other people mentioned, it's important freshman year to try out a lot of different clubs and organizations. And eventually you'll kind of become affiliated with one, hopefully. So for me, freshman year, I was new to Novi and I just tried out a lot of different clubs. The one club that I specifically liked was DECA. I excelled very much in DECA because it dealt with a lot of public speaking kind of activities, and I'd already done very well in Vidyanti's class and did a lot of other things public speaking related. So I really enjoyed that, and I figured that I would try to go more in depth in that. At the same time, as other people mentioned, I think it's good to be open-minded. So just because I got more affiliated with business and DECA specifically in high school didn't mean that I quit my other clubs. I still continued with, for example, HOSA to try to see if maybe later on I developed an interest in medicine. I didn't specifically develop an interest in medicine, but at least now as a senior looking back, I know that I tried out medicine, I tried out medical related things, and it just wasn't the right thing for me. You never want to have the regret that you didn't cast a wide net and you just got too involved in something, because we are very young, and I don't think that everyone really knows specifically what they want to do immediately.
So I know you were mentioning DECA and you were very successful with that. So how did you become DECA's president?
So that was a little bit of a crazy story. So during my freshman year, I joined DECA and I got involved in it, but I never really knew how successful I would be. I just kept trying, and I figured, at least in my school, no freshman ever made it to DECA Nationals, so it wasn't really an expectation for me, but I just tried my best and I kept working at it, and eventually I was able to make it to DECA Nationals my freshman year. My sophomore year, everyone said the same thing. Like, no sophomore's ever been elected as an officer. You've only been in the club for a year. But I figured, why not try? So I tried for officer. I gave a fantastic speech, and I got elected as officer for Novi. And then people said, no, there's never been like a sophomore who's really been elected as DECA president. I said, why not? I've gotten lucky 2 times, so 3 times the charm. So I applied for state president. I went through the application process, not really knowing what to expect, but I really just tried myself, tried my best, and tried to just be myself. I eventually got elected as state president then, and then got re-elected this past year. So I served 2 terms as state president. The biggest advice that I would give to students right now is make sure that you're ambitious. I think that in high school, a lot of people start settling, and once you start settling, it's very dangerous because it just leads to one thing after another.
And I know you were talking about how the process worked for getting into all those leadership positions, and that all comes with being connected. So how did you really build a network, since freshman year till now?
So I think in terms of networking, it depends on a much bigger underlying philosophy. So personally, I know that going into high school, I told my parents this privately. I didn't really tell people that, but I told my parents, like, I want to go into Harvard. And I'm going to cater a lot of everything I do in high school to try to get into that college. But I think high school really transformed me in a lot of ways. First and foremost, as I started listening, I spent a lot of time in high school trying to listen to my role models. It taught me that really a lot of your academics and more generally your life can't just be about getting to one institution, one job. So I really do believe that. I think that if you want to make good connections, it's not just about, for example, say you want to go into medicine and you want to become a doctor. It's not enough for you to just go to school, get an A in biology, apply to undergraduate medical programs or direct med programs. I think it involves you having much greater interest in it and constantly reading about it and getting very involved in it. And then when you approach doctors and you can talk to them about current issues, they become very impressed. And
as you said, the grades aren't enough. You have to go outside of that. So what extracurriculars outside of school did you do to really shape your passion?
I did a lot extracurricularly, and it took up a lot of my time throughout high school. So we mentioned DECA, so that was definitely, serving as state president for DECA was definitely my primary extracurricular focus. Beyond that, I also was a lead business analyst for an online startup called Hindsight. I also helped found and run the Detroit tutoring program for 4 years, where I went to local Detroit schools and helped teach them. I did a lot in high school extracurricularly, but what I will say is, out of all of my activities, I definitely would say that I enjoy tutoring in Detroit the most. And let me talk specifically about that. So when I was doing a lot of volunteer work, I could have done a lot of different things. So for example, I could have volunteered at a hospital, I could have volunteered locally, I was volunteering at like a old age home, and I really enjoyed that as well. But I think I gained the most through teaching in Detroit. I think teaching is a wonderful activity. I would encourage all of you guys to get into tutoring or teaching, at least in some capacity, because it teaches you a lot about yourself. I think when you it teaches you to be patient, it teaches you to be dedicated, and it's a wonderful feeling when you help someone else succeed, and you feel a lot of satisfaction through that.
What are some of the challenges you faced in high school, because you have so many successes?
I would say one of the challenges that I faced in high school, like during 9th grade, I kind of struggled to find my place, not necessarily academically or extracurricularly, but socially in Novi High School, because I moved there again at the beginning of my freshman year, so I didn't necessarily know many people there. What I would say there is, it's important for you in high school to develop a group of friends that you really connect with and who bring you up. Obviously, you can be friends with many people, but there is a very important, I think, article out there that says that you are the average of your 5 closest associates. So I would say really be careful with who you choose as friends, who you spend a lot of time with, because inevitably they will influence your ideas.
So how did you approach your college apps? Like how long they took and when you got started?
College applications are definitely one of the most challenging things I've ever done in my life. So for example, think about all of the essays you've already written in say middle school, beginning of high school, think about all the projects you've worked on. Now imagine the end result of all of that, like your 4 years, everything you've worked for in your 4 years of high school and how much time and effort you put into that. So I definitely tried to start my college applications early. I started in the beginning of August. And my Common App took about 2 months to complete because I really kept editing it. I think I did about 25 drafts by the end of it. So it definitely did take a while. So in terms of actually writing the college app and actually filling it out, that is a very tedious process. But I think it's one that you don't necessarily have to worry about right now if you're in the beginning of high school. What I think is more important for you to focus is get an early start on the process by looking at what the college applications are about. So for example, the beginning of my freshman year, the beginning of my sophomore year and junior year, I printed out the college application, which you can find as a PDF online, and I essentially filled it out as if I was applying right now. Obviously, I didn't nearly have the same leadership positions, I didn't have the same accomplishments, but it gave me a clear idea of where I stood right now if I applied to college today. So it helped me chalk up what my strengths were, what my weaknesses were, and based on that, I was really able to figure out where I needed to improve.
Thank you so much for all that information. Thank you for coming.